Hello, everybody. This is Freddy from We Scale Your Brand, where we help six-figure and seven-figure e-commerce brands grow through Facebook ads. And in this upcoming YouTube series, I kind of want to walk you through our internal media buying Facebook ad system that we use, to ensure client success. I'm going to be walking you through how to make, how to evaluate creatives, how to make strategic decisions, how to write copy, how to improve the overall Facebook ad system, how to have the best possible account structure, all that kind of fun stuff that kind of comes with Facebook ads. And, because this overview may look super, super weird, super, super complicated, I'm going to be starting you kind of at the top level view and just a basic overview of how a system works, what a system is. So if you don't even know what a system is and how it works, there are basically, five components to it. So we have our inputs, we have our processes, we have our outputs, our feedback, and the environment. So how can we kind of portray this onto Facebook ads? So for Facebook ads, our inputs could basically be everything that is related to the Facebook ads. Everything that kind of plays a role into into our outputs. This could be account structure, this could be our creative, this could be our headlines, ad copies, all the kind of stuff, audiences that we're using, all of those are essentially inputs. They play a huge role on the outputs. Some have a larger role, such as creative or account structure. Some have a less important role, maybe the ad copy or interest group that you're using, right? And then we have obviously the processes, the testing process and how we test creatives so that we get an output which we can make a decision on, right? So a good output, maybe stability, being able to spend, let's say, 1,000 a day, at a 3x ROAS, if that's your goal, if that's the goal output that you have, this is a goal, right? Goal output. Maybe it's just greater efficiency. For example, previously you were spending, $1,000 at 3x per day, and now you want to spend 1,000 at like 3.1x per day or 3.2x, right? This could be greater efficiency at current, spend level. Just overall, also generally speaking, being able to spend more. Maybe you want to scale aggressively, right? Then kind of, what comes out, gets into the feedback loop, which goes back to our inputs, right? So feedback is kind of, we use a lot of loop sheets for this, keep track of all of the inputs. First of all, is super, super important. Same with keeping track of the outputs. And then, in the feedback process, why was this output good? Why was this output bad, right? Essentially to find out why stuff is working or why certain stuff isn't working, right? It's not as simple as, this creative works and this one doesn't. Why is this creative working? Why isn't this creative working? What's different, right? Then we also have the environment, which, as you can see, kind of is, the sun, and it plays a large role in our overall performance. So basically, environment is everything that happens once somebody leaves Facebook, right? The goal of the Facebook ads ecosystem, the job as a media buyer, the job for you as wanting to do the ads for your own brand is to get somebody to leave Facebook, essentially, or Instagram, right? To go to your website, right? This is the goal of the Facebook ads, right? And then we have the environment, which also plays a large role in the ads performance. This maybe, for example, the conversion rate, right? Customer service, brand value, how people portray you as a brand, having products in stock, good user interface, all the kind of stuff that kind of happens outside of Facebook, but still plays a role into the Facebook ad system. ROAS kind of still depends on the conversion rate and stuff, right? But this is not really like Facebook can't do anything about that, right? If you have a bad conversion rate, this is not related to Facebook. Maybe if you're optimizing for like add to cart instead of purchase, but that's a completely different story. And obviously this is very vague, so I've built kind of a mid-level overview over the Facebook ad system that we use. So outputs is still the same, stability, being able to spend more, higher ROAS, greater efficiency, lower CPA, all that kind of stuff that a client might want. And then we have different elements that come to play, right? We have scaling, we have strategic testing, we have creative testing, we have offer testing, and probably the most important ones, is the creative strategy or creative testing approach, which is especially with iOS 14.5, where a lot of data gets lost. Creatives, make or break your ad account. Then we have the tracking/planning. We have sheets where we evaluate performance. We use Google Data Studio to kind of get an overview over everything that's important for us. Seeing trends. Maybe last 3 days versus last 7 days versus last 30 days. That kind of stuff. And all these kind of feed into our action items, which are basically stuff that we have to do on a daily basis or maybe also weekly basis. And we have our daily action items, daily to-dos as a kind of a media buyer, managing the Facebook ads, weekly to-dos, then keeping track of the inputs, strategic ideas, creative research, coming up with concepts, If you don't know what concepts are, I will be making a separate video about that. Strategic decision making, how to make the best decisions for your business, right? That's all obviously super, super important, right? And this is then what kind of leads us to the in-depth system, that we use, where we make decisions in. And I'm going to be walking you through again each individual step of this system. So at the end of this YouTube series, you should hopefully become a very, very good media buyer. At least you should have a good understanding of how the Facebook ecosystem works. What the do's are, what the don'ts are. For example, especially if you're just starting out, first steps, super, super important. Doing competitor research, for example, doing ideas, on your own research. Coming up with like a testing roadmap. Coming up with like a 30 to 90-day action plan. Of stuff that you want to test, where you think this may work. Then basically we kind of have two different systems. Mainly depends on whether you have a control element. If you don't know what a control element is, control campaign, you can kind of compare it to an evergreen campaign. You're basically stuff that is always working, right? The goal is, if you don't have one, is to get one. And I'm going to be walking you through, each step on how to get, evergreen campaigns, how to get evergreen ad sets, how to get evergreen ads, right? Then we have larger parts of the system. We have control, we have creative testing, we have retargeting, we have audience testing, offer testing, strategic testing, all the kind of fun stuff, that is kind of connected to the Facebook ads, that comes with higher, ad spend levels. And I'm going to be walking you through each one of them. And yeah, if you're interested in seeing a quick case study of how we scale a brand from 50,000 per month to 100,000 per month, click on the first link in the description. And if you're a 6 or 7 figure e-commerce brand that wants to work with us, please, second link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to keep posted on this series, feel free to subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this first video.